Hello, my name is Tasmin and welcome back to my YouTube channel and the second episode of Growing Roots. This series on my channel tries to document my journey of consuming media with more awareness and consuming it more carefully, and about the books, movies, series, articles, podcasts, whatever I consumed lately, more or less lately, and what it has done to me, and if I recommend it or not, and why I consume it, and what it has brought me and how it has enriched my life. The last episode is a while ago, and even on that episode I was already behind on what I wanted to say. So I am incredibly behind on the things I want to share with you. So this is like stuff from like a few months ago, but we are going with it. It's fine, we're going with it. First up, I was very much consumed the last couple of months from my own book, a poetry collection that I talked about in my last couple of videos, so check that out if you want. I'm not gonna talk more about this now, but like, shameless self-promo insert here. If you can hear cows, by the way, I have cows in front of my window, so I'm on the Azores, so I can't do much about it because there are cows literally everywhere. Next up is a big book recommendation, and that is Turning the Tide on Plastic by Lizzy. Siegle, I think is how you pronounce the last name, I'm not sure. And I read it as an ebook, and it was such a good ride. It's a very good starting point. I'm trying to get more and more into the topics of climate change and what we can do about it, especially as individuals. I know companies, politics have a big part in this, but I am not a company, I'm not a politician, I want to know what I can do. And this was really, really, really good as like a starting point for this whole journey. I mean, I've been diving into that journey before already, but especially when it comes to the topic of plastic, it's an amazing book to start out from. This book talks a lot about why plastic is a problem, why plastic pollution is a thing, the extent of plastic pollution and what we can do about it, and if recycling is a myth or if it's something good or something bad, and how we can work with the plastic pandemic and what we can do to reduce plastic or reuse plastic and all these kind of things. So it's a really, really, really great starting point if you want to do something about your plastic intake, or if you just want to know, is plastic really that bad or is it not? And of course it's not the perfect book in the world, but it's a really, really good starting point and I can really recommend it. The second book that I would like to recommend to you guys is The Poppy War by Kuang. And damn, it's been a while since I read a fantasy book that gripped me this hard. This is, I think it's almost grimdark, like it's a very dark, very harsh and raw and dense and war-based fantasy-ish book, even though the fantasy aspects are not as prominent, at least here in the first book. We don't like, it's not like, oh my god, dragons, magic, spells, whatever. No. It's very much based in a very hard reality, and it's inspired by real life events. Yes, also the very tough stuff at the end. For everyone who has read it already, it's based on a true event in history, and whew, it's very hard to read at times. It's a very dark read, but it is absolutely incredible. It's so amazingly written, and it talks about so many things, like even like between the lines or just in small comments, it's just like one thing after the other, and it's just incredible, very well written, very engaging, and you fly through it. And the last bookish thing that I have read and would like to recommend is the Singing Hills duology, which is a set of 2 novellas. The first one being The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and the second one is When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain. Yes, both are written by Nghi, and they are incredible. They are so good. I usually do not read novellas at all. I'm always like, yeah, about novellas. Usually I'm not satisfied while reading them. I always want more, but these ones were just perfect. I really, really, really enjoyed reading them. I had a blast, and I want more in that world. Like, I want more novellas in that world. I want to have them all. It is set in a super mystical and creative Asian-inspired world, and it has a, I'm not sure if it's actually non-binary, but it has a main character or narrator with the pronouns they, them, which was really refreshing and which I really enjoyed. And it's just so mystical and beautiful. The next thing I would like to talk about has been my addiction. Not only when I started to make this list a few months ago, but like up until this very point, and it is a very, very famous YouTube channel from a Chinese woman that I cannot pronounce for the life of me. I tried. I looked her name up and I tried so hard, but my tongue will not cooperate. So her name is Lizzy. I'm sorry, I really tried, believe me. I spent, I think, like an hour looking up her name and trying to say it, but I can't. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this woman because she's so famous. I think she's the biggest internet star of China, and also here in like the westernized countries she has a massive following, and I am one of them. What she does is basically create these videos about a very, very simplistic rural life on the Chinese countryside, where she does everything from scratch, like from the clothes that she does to the food that she eats. Like, you see her farming, you see her stitching, you see her make furniture. It's pretty crazy. Most of her videos are very centered on food, and you would see her planting things, harvesting things, and make them into a variety of dishes. She studied to be a cook, like she was a professional cook for a while before she moved in with her grandparents. Like, you only see the grandmother in the videos, but I'm not sure if she moved back with the grandparents and you just don't see the grandpa. I'm not sure. There is not much known about her. She doesn't talk a lot in the videos at all, and she's a very mysterious figure. Like, there is not much that you actually know about her and her life, and I don't mind. Her videos are so calming and beautiful, and while I have to say that this type of content heavily romanticizes this type of lifestyle, I still love it so much. And it's been one of the only things that have kept my mental health like somewhat in a good place, more or less. It is almost like a meditation if you watch these videos. You see her in like beautiful clothes and with perfect hair, doing all this farming and transforming it into beautiful food or into like New Year's decorations or all these types of things. And it looks so easy. It looks like she doesn't, like it's not hard work, but as somebody who's currently learning how to farm, oh, it's such a lie. You are dirty, you are sweating, it's so hard, you fail a lot, you hurt yourself, you look like a mess, you smell bad, and you wear the worst clothes that you can possibly wear because you will ruin them. And yeah, so it's heavily romanticized and it's heavily edited as well. But I just really love this type of content because it's just so calming. It's like a relaxing bath just for your brain. Next up is a documentary that you can watch on Netflix, and that documentary is My Octopus Teacher. And in 2020, I think actually in the beginning, spring, summer, something like that, I read The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery, I think is the author. I will put the cover here. And that was already really touching, but I didn't really get out of the book what I wanted to get from it. And to watch the documentary was like finally getting that part that I didn't get from the book, but what I wanted. And it's such a beautiful, emotional documentary to watch, and it makes you be very much in touch with the ocean and with octopodes and with the amazing creature that nature has gifted us with. Like, there are such incredible animals and plants and ecosystems out there, and octopus are just one of them. And he shows them in this documentary in a very beautiful way that I think is very, very touching, and I would highly recommend watching it. Next up is not a specific media that I consumed. It was actually multiple media, and I will link a multitude of links down below. But it's an issue that I made myself aware of, kind of, and that's the Mauna Kea issue on Hawaii. It's been going on for a couple of years already, and I heard about it here and there, but I never took the time to actually invest my time into researching what was happening on Hawaii. But now I have listened to a podcast episode from one of my favorite podcasts, which is the All My Relations podcast. And as I said, I will link everything I mention, and even things that I don't mention, probably down below. And I listened to that podcast episode, and I was like, what is going on? Why do I not know about this? Basically, the Mauna Kea issue is that there is this holy volcano and mountain on Hawaii, and authorities just build telescopes up there. Because it's like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, like in the middle of nowhere, and they just build one telescope after the other and destroying the nature heavily. And not only are they destroying the nature, but they're also destroying a holy place of the native people there. And they have been protesting this for so many years, and it's such an important issue because it's indigenous land that is already like colonized in ways we cannot even imagine as people who are from Europe and are in Europe or America. I mean, America is colonized, but well, you know what I mean. If you're like a white person like me, you cannot even start to imagine what it feels like to be colonized. And they already suffer from so much oppression that seeing authorities actively destroying one of your most holy places on the entire planet, it is mind-boggling to me. As somebody who now, since just a few years, has a very personal and intimate relationship to a volcano myself, to a mountain, to an island myself, and to the nature here, I would be furious if somebody would come and build a telescope up there, or anything else for that matter. I would protest it, and I would rage if I would see anybody destroy this holy place that is so attached to my heart and that means so much to me. And I'm just one person that came here and fell in love with this place. I cannot imagine how it feels like if your entire culture and your entire family, generations upon generations, not only get colonized, but then under the colonial system and under the oppressive system get this destroyed, and no matter what you do, your tries to or your I'm missing the English word, oh no. Your efforts of saving this place are all in vain, and that but you don't give up. They don't give up, and I want to applaud them so hard, and I want to support them. And that's why I'm going to leave a bunch of links down below for you guys to check it out, because I cannot fully explain to you what's going on because I'm not there, I'm not one of them, and it's not my voice that needs to be heard. But I want to make you aware that this has been going on Hawaii, and if you care anything about the nature there or in any other place, or if you care about volcanoes or whatever it is, please check it out and inform yourself what is going on. And the last thing I would like to share with you guys is an online course that I attended. There's this platform called EDX on which you can, for free, join university courses. And no, this is not sponsored. I would love to, but no. I just discovered it through a friend online, and I've been in love with it ever since. And I did a course there. Let me read you the title so don't get it wrong. The course name is From the Ground Up: Managing and Preserving Our Terrestrial Ecosystems. And it's not really from a university per se in this case, like a lot of the courses there are like from Harvard and whatever, but this is not. This is from the SDG Academy, so from the United Nations. And like in alignment with the Paris Agreement and everything. And it's another thing for me that is in alignment with my efforts of educating myself more in regards to climate change and in regards to a more sustainable life. And this is less a guide on how to garden. It's not at all that. It is really talking about the big terrestrial ecosystem, so forest, wetlands, forest, dryland, savannas, all that stuff. And this course is very focused on the Amazonian rainforest as well, but it talks about other places too. And it was very, very educational. And if any one of you is like me, who likes this university setting of learning and this type of education, and wants to dive deeper into that, and also dive deeper into the United Nations or the Paris Agreement and what that actually means, what is actually going on there, I would highly recommend it. So that was it with this episode of Growing Roots. I hope until episode 3 it won't be that long, because I'm really behind on my list of things that I want to share. And I would like to know of you if you lately have read or watched anything that made you think, anything that helped you shift your perspective, and especially in regards to climate change, because I can feel my focus really going into that direction. But of course also when it comes to, for example, Mauna Kea or other indigenous justice things that are going on, I would love to hear from it or about it, and I hope to talk to you in the comments soon. See you! PS. Yeah. Self-promo, sorry. I can't. I'm still too excited that this exists.